Good afternoon and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my beautiful co-host Judy Loge and Veronique Arsenault. Good afternoon, ladies.
We're back.
We're back. We had a few weeks off there with vacations and everything else like that. I missed you guys.
I did too. It was awesome to be away, but I did miss you too.
Yes.
No, not that we were off from the show, but we weren't off from our other
regular
full-time
life.
jobs and families and everything else like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I miss our Mondays and getting to chit chat
And I know our viewers, they missed us too.
I think so. I think they did, for sure. Being caught up on everything that we want to chit-chat about, which is how we're going to start off our show, like we always do.
So much today.
I know. I think we
much.
could have the show all by ourselves today,
I know.
but we don't. We have some lovely guests
We
that are
do.
going to be joining us later, so you're not going to want to miss that, so stay tuned. But we're going to start off today. Now, who has the quote of the day? I wasn't here early enough today to catch
Is it
that
you?
part of it. I'm like, I'm hoping
We're doing it
it's
to
not me.
Audrey.
I'm like, ooh,
No,
just
if
a
you
minute.
don't have it, don't worry about it. We have so much more to talk about.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I do have
Okay.
a quote, and it's
Okay.
actually a quote that's been on my Facebook profile since I got Facebook, and
Okay.
since they asked for quotes. And it's a quote from that a dear friend of mine that we lost way too soon. We lost him when he was only 24. It was his favorite quote.
Okay, I know
And
him.
so yeah, Stuart Graham.
Yes, sweetheart.
And so it's always meant something to me, and it's
Yeah.
by E.A. Guest. And it's, I'd like to be the sort of friend that you have been to me. I'd like to be the help that you've always been glad to be. I'd like to mean as much to you each minute of the day as you have meant, old friend of mine, to me along the way.
It's beautiful, and I'm getting emotional because
I know.
I knew this
know.
young man
I'm just
too.
like, okay,
And
it's
he
like
was-
an episode of Barbara Walters.
I know.
He was so vibrant and a special
Yeah.
person
He
that has a lot of
was.
meaning.
Yeah, and he loved that quote. So like I said, it's been on my Facebook profile since for a decade nearly. And his family and our family have been friends for generations, literally for generations.
on.
So
Yeah.
it's it just
He was a sweetie.
I was feeling nostalgic this morning, and so that was the quote that kind of got to me.
Spurgeon. He's listening
He
up
there.
is. He is,
Definitely.
and he'd be so fascinated by all of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was such an amazing.
Now, who was he to the community?
So his family. So his mom's family owned Cassidy Beverages, the Pepsi plant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
for forever. And so, but his grandmother and my grandmother were friends.
Yeah.
His mother and my mother have been best friends since they were
That's right.
babies.
Right.
And then Stuart and his sister Joey, who owns Goji's, have been friends of mine since we were little children as well. We summered here every year together and grew up together. And so so I was thinking, and we lost Stuart in 2000, so it's been 17 years.
Wow.
And
April 11th, 2000. So it's just,
Tragic.
I was feeling nostalgic this morning.
That's okay,
so.
but they named their only grandchild in the family Cassidy after Cassidy's
Yes.
Beverages.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
That's
kidding.
pretty
I
special.
know, and she's such a beautiful girl, too.
She lives, that'll be the
goodness.
legacy.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was a lovely quote, Veronique. Thanks for that. And we've got so much to talk about. I know we haven't been here on the show to chit-chat about things that are going on here in Miramichi because there is no lack of anything that's been going on for sure. But what did you want to talk about first?
Well, I just want to talk about our break, that we love doing this show, but
Yes.
we really were able to do a lot in the 3 weeks that we were gone. And I got to go to Montreal with my sister.
Oh, yeah.
And
yes,
my
that's right,
husband
too.
surprised us with 6-row tickets to the Ed Sheeran James Blunt concert. So it was 6th row. And
I have
I could
goosebumps.
actually almost reach out and touch him, and he was phenomenal. And James Blunt, so now I want to get the new albums. They were amazing.
Fabulous.
And then I got back, and I had my suitcase in the hallway for about 3 days. Then we went for 2 weeks down to Boston, Cape Cod with my husband and my son.
Right.
Just relaxed, swam, ate.
Yes.
Good food, and went to the beach and met new people and just toured around and rejuvenated.
Yeah, good for you.
No, that's fantastic.
Well, you need that.
I took in, because this is my busy time, so taking time off from the salon and everything is really, really hard, but I did take a weekend, a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Beta Vin days.
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
Spent a day out on a boat. I really, we
Beautiful.
live on, seriously, The
Yes.
Miramichi
Beautiful river.
I'm surprised I don't actually own a boat. I don't get that part, but I have friends with boats.
It's coming.
That's right. Less work.
And just to cruise up the river like that with friends and spend the day and then, cruise back and then go to the beer gardens. We went to the beer gardens on Sunday night. Echo was playing. Haven't seen them in a while. Fabulous job. They learned all these new songs. They're just as fabulous as I remember them.
Yep.
So
huge crowds. Gets a little bit wild at times, Audrey, doesn't it?
It can. You have to keep your wits about you and your,
Yeah.
But
I
enjoyed
haven't
it.
been in years. I haven't been to Beta Vindays in years. It used to be the weekend that all my friends came home. We would have a gathering down at the cottage, and then we would head.
I remember those
yes,
days.
I know. and we would head down, but it's actually been probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 years since I've been.
Well, your calm breakdown.
Yes,
woman.
we're gonna go with that. But I actually haven't been on vacation I haven't taken any time yet this summer.
Yes.
But I'm going to take a couple of days. I have to go to Ottawa for work towards the latter part of this week, and then I'm going to take a couple of days and see some old friends. And
because you lived there.
I did.
So
I lived there for a long time.
Picked up a lot of friendships
yeah,
there.
so
That's
we're having
nice.
a little mini high school reunion and
Fun.
yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful day this is. Summer has been. Once summer started, it just went full tilt. Amazing.
It was rough going to start, but
Gorgeous
like you
weather.
said, gorgeous.
I love
just
it.
love it.
Love
I'm
it,
not
love it.
saying
To
boo.
see it end.
No, exactly. That's
So there's
just it.
absolutely too much going on.
Okay. Yeah,
There's absolutely too much going on. But something
What would
that
you like to touch on?
we really need to note, and it's amazing to me that we have this, is it's the 175th anniversary of the Highland Society of New Brunswick in Miramichi.
175.
175th.
Woo.
Yeah, so they're having the Scottish Festival, the 18th to the 20th.
Okay.
So this weekend, and they've had activities like since the 6th of August, but really the festival is this weekend.
It's amazing.
But 175 years are celebrating, and they do so much in the community too. Like they have a scholarship every year. They give away money. They give money to the hospital foundation.
They do.
Like they
Celebrate with
they
dancing,
really
concerts,
donate,
and everything.
Well, the Scotland, that's the part that for me, when I'm trying to, because a lot of people think Irish and Scottish is a lot of the same, it's the dancing that changes it for me.
totally.
It makes me know that, those are the Scottish.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
the Highland
amazing.
dancers,
I've never ever tried, and I love to dance, but I have not taken on that role.
Well, we say that with my acting, I find it's really hard when I'm given a role. I have to speak in Irish. I can do that, but when I have to speak in Scottish, it's tricky.
See, all I can do is a Southern Texas kind of accent.
How y'all do now?
Y'all.
How are y'all?
I think that's because Miramichi. Okay, there is a few similarities
But
there.
I love their drawl down there.
That's
down
all I
south.
can do. I can't manage a British one or a Scottish one.
And
or an
come on,
Irish
so you can do it. Just be posh about it, Fanny.
Oh, there you go.
No, I can't
right?
do it.
Oh, I'm not even going to attempt it. No, I'm just going to stick with English.
Did you guys know about Sam Johnston?
You know what? It's amazing what New Brunswickers have been able to do on a world stage over the last month.
Yeah.
Like when I started doing the research and I was hearing all the news stories and everything, I started doing the research and I'm like, holy cow!
We've got to be proud.
So who is he?
Sam Johnston is a guy that lived here, grew up here.
Okay.
And if you will recall, he is a teacher, but then now he's a manager at Dorchester Penitentiary for Corrections Canada.
Okay.
However, he battled leukemia 7 years ago, and he was a guest speaker at the Josie Foundation, and he's a friend of mine.
Was he really?
Yes.
I didn't realize.
Not this year, but last year. So I asked him as a friend if he would come on and talk about his episode with leukemia.
Right.
And bottom line, he had a 10% chance of living at one point. He said, I am not willing to die. I've got a beautiful wife, children. I'm going to pump myself up, and I'm going to live.
Yep.
His determination surpassed, I just get goosebumps.
I know, I've got them too.
Sam Johnson, this past week, won the World Taekwondo Championship in South Korea.
Yes.
He went there on a whim because he's a master's in his 8th degree black belt.
Okay.
So he went there to compete with some new, to learn more instruction. I guess.
He was there for classes.
He was there for classes.
And entered.
On a whim, and he thought, what the heck, I'm here anyway. And he took home the title of the World Taekwondo. I'm so proud of you, Sam.
I know, it's incredible.
I was going to call him this morning, but I thought,
well, there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, he's the most persevering man I know. without a doubt.
Yeah, he's 52 years old.
He was 38 when he had leukemia.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like never say never.
No.
Like,
No, to back up, he hasn't competed since he was 38 years old.
Yes.
okay.
Had not been in a competition since he was 38.
Right, because the taekwondo thing is something that he's done for years.
Yes.
So he did that, but when he was 38, he did that, competed, stopped, and kind of taught the other children and people in the community. But then at 52, he didn't. He did it on his own and won the world championship.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Definitely.
But and something else that we missed, unfortunately, was in July. The New Brunswick Special Olympics happened in Moncton.
Yes,
and there was a good team from Miramichi, and they brought home some medals. And I want to say, actually, because so many of our viewers, we've been very lucky. We had Zakia on and Michael. But Alan Sutherland is one of our faithful viewers, and he brought home a medal.
Yes.
He brought home a medal during those Special Olympics, and in bowling.
Yes.
You know, and Anthony McLean's another one. Like they amazing.
They shine. They
So
always shine.
amazing.
Their personalities are outstanding, and they're beautiful people. And then they go out and do something. This makes us so proud.
I know. Yes. And you know what? And Alan's been such a great volunteer at the Irish Festival, and Anthony volunteers all over the river. Like, we have so many wonderful people in the community.
We do.
But anyway, congratulations to both of them.
Yes.
Really fantastic job. And to everybody else that participated in the Special Olympics as well.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah.
Good show. And Laura Dickinson.
I know,
you knew
right?
I just couldn't. I couldn't contain myself. I was so excited.
Yeah. Imagine at the age of 17.
Accomplished so much.
Eh?
Laura Dickinson. She was on our show.
Yep.
And won gold in Peru.
I know. She was the only Atlantic Canadian athlete to be chosen to go first of all, and then she got there and she won gold in the 5,000 meters steeplechase, which I can't even imagine hopping over the fence, let alone running.
No,
of course.
And then she came home and went to the Canada Games. Yes. And she was the flag bearer in the opening ceremonies, and then she won. She got silver in the 3,000 meter steeplechase and the 5,000 meter steeplechase.
She'll be in the Olympics one day.
I
think that's her dream and goal, and we'll see her there.
Yeah,
and then we can say we knew her when.
And then we can say she was on our show.
I know.
Definitely.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last one, Audrey, the North American Indigenous Games for ages 13 to 19. So Team New Brunswick sent 85 athletes. 85 athletes.
We had that many that qualified to go?
And there was 5,200 participants.
Yeah.
5,200 participants.
Okay.
So they came from every province in New Brunswick, in Canada.
Yes.
And 9 U.S. regions. So this was
this
really
is a big deal.
Yeah, North America. And the New Brunswick team brought home 16 medals.
Wow.
Out of 5,200 people
16
competing.
medals. And a lot of them were from our region.
I'm so excited. We should have them on in the future as a guest, maybe a couple of those people to talk about how exciting and what an experience it was.
You and I can't even jog across the street.
Don't underestimate.
I can so, especially in heels like Audrey wears.
Oh, yeah. If there was I'd win if there was a category that included heels.
Yes.
I really think I'd have a chance.
Yes.
Let's just say the only way I would run fast is if Donald Trump was behind me and I was trying to get away from him.
I know.
That's when I'd run.
Yep. Right.
You wouldn't believe to see how
I'd
fast
be
I could
running
run.
and vomiting, running and vomiting. I'm sorry.
Now there's a visual for you.
It's bad.
There is a visual for you.
But that man, since his installment, since his inauguration, has been just one great big fiasco. Sorry.
No, exactly.
Do
I
you
feel
not
like
agree?
we're watching the episode of the
Am I
Gong
allowed
Show.
to say that?
Gong Show?
I know.
Like
I keep thinking we're being punked.
And but the episode now with the extremists and that man not speaking up in time, like he's a white supremacist himself.
Well, and I have to say this, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble. I don't really care.
Go ahead.
The media in general are calling them the alt-right and the white nationalists.
Yes.
And it makes my blood boil because they are white supremacists. And they are racist. Yeah, and they are domestic terrorists.
And there's neo-Nazis.
I'm like, call a spade a spade.
Like, it is not a white nationalist.
No.
Because I'll tell you, I guarantee, if you had hundreds of any other nationality in the streets with torches, they would not be called nationalists.
No.
They would be called terrorists.
Aren't they calling them white supremacists?
No, they're calling them nationalists.
Okay, because I was hearing the word white supremacist.
As if it's the nation that they're actually
supporting
for.
the nation.
They're supporting the nation as a whole, not.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Now I feel like we are on an episode of The Minions.
Well, I watch a lot of The Minions.
Jerry.
But and then one of these people, killed someone, injured another 19 people. And then the president of the United States gets up and says, "Well, there's been violence on all sides."
Yes, you talk like him. Actually, you're trying to talk like him now. Gotta do something about the hair, though, Veronique.
There.
Well, I'm and that all of that's going on is not good. But then there's Trump and the president of North Korea.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like that
terrifies you.
Yeah, and even when the internet went down, was it last week?
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
Friday the 4th.
The internet went down. I was nervous.
I was too. My husband always calms me. He always says that they're going to be throwing that back and forth to try to make a statement that. But you know what?
I truly thought it was a terrorist thing. We were right in the middle of it.
Me too.
I really
ready
did.
To get missiled.
Yeah, I'm like, they're blocking all so we can't call 911, and they're gonna hit us.
Well, no, but Rogers was still up.
Yeah.
Rogers was true.
But Trump, he says all this stuff, and he says the things he says, but he's talking basically about himself.
I know.
He's a misogynist, okay? Which, if there's any young people watching, know that a misogynist is someone that has prejudice against women. Now we know he likes to feel and touch and come on to women,
that's a different.
but he's very prejudiced against women, okay?
Yeah.
And he says
minorities.
he didn't say much about this whole situation because he didn't want to dignify them. That's what he said. He didn't want to dignify them, give them credit for being what they were doing, extremists.
He is the president of the United States. He needs to make a statement that is strong.
It came too late.
And condemning.
But he didn't. He said he didn't want to give them the benefit or dignify them. He didn't want to bring traction to them.
I know. But and the whole threat of nuclear war and everything. When he made the statement that that they were going to be met with swift fury and fire, he was sitting there like this, like a petulant child. And I hate to be talking about the president because
I don't mind.
Because you know what I feel like elected office, you need to respect the office.
No, you don't.
Right? But the office, not necessarily the person. The person, you don't need to respect the person, but you need to respect the office. And I hate to be talking about the president of the U.S. like this because whether you agree with someone's politics or not, they're still the president of the U.S.
That's right.
But he is endangering
the
everyone.
lives of all of us.
Everyone.
All of us, not just the U.S.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
He's going beyond the borders.
Because we're not that far, let's be honest.
He's
We're next door.
disrespecting the Oval Office.
Completely.
With the Oval Office, he called it a dump.
Yeah, I heard that.
Because he comes from such lush, lavish background with his gold bed and everything.
Whatever.
That he called it
Silver
a
spoon in his
dump.
mouth.
So how disrespectful to call the White House where it's housed.
I know.
So many
that
presidents.
you worked so hard and tried to talk everybody into voting you so that you could be there.
So I love him. I don't know about you guys.
See, you got me all worked up on this Monday afternoon.
I know. That's just, it was good that it's almost time for break. We got a minute left. So we have some great guests coming up that we want to tell you about before we go to break. We have Emmanuel Landry. She's joining us now. She's the coordinator of the sexual assault nursing group
Examiner.
Yeah. So, and she's bringing a coworker of hers, Brandy McCormick.
Yes.
So they're going to be our first guests. We're going to chit chat with them and everything that they're doing for the community. I think it's an important topic. It's a touchy topic that I think people need to know that service is out there and available for women and for anyone that would be in that situation. It'll be great information.
Yep.
So we'll be back more after the break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat. Welcome back to more Have a Chat. We've been having a great show thus far after being off for 3 weeks. Up next, we have some lovely guests joining us, Emmanuel Landry and Brandy McCormick. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us today. You're here to talk to us about the group SANE. And for those viewers who don't know, that stands for Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner, correct?
Yep, correct.
Now, this is something, is it new in Miramichi? You're going to tell us a little bit first about yourselves in case there's anybody who doesn't know you personally, and then we'll get on to our subject.
Perfect. Well, I'm Emmanuel. I'm the coordinator for Moncton and Miramichi.
Okay.
I've been a registered nurse for 17 years, and I've been doing sexual assault nurse now for 7 years, but I've been the coordinator for almost 3 years in September.
It's been around that long.
it's been along that line.
I know, right?
Big job, too.
Yeah,
In New Brunswick, it started in 2005.
Wow.
The program. Yep.
Okay. Brandy.
Yeah, hi. I'm also a registered nurse. I work full-time in the ER. I've been here for the past 8 years.
Yes.
But just became a SANE nurse in the past year. Something I've always been interested in, so I was happy it came to here.
We're happy that you took it on because it's a huge calling and undertaking.
Yeah, I would think, besides doing what they do coming from nursing, it would be something natural for them to do, but mentally it's a whole other
Well, tell us a little bit about the program, I guess, because I mean, I really, truly have no idea what it is.
So, SANE program, it's been in Miramichi now for a year. So basically, we see all the victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. So if they present themselves at emergency, they will put them in a room right away, so they don't need to wait a couple of hours before being seen. They will call the nurse on call, the SANE on call, and then we'll see them right away. So we have a special training how to respond to them, and we see all group of age from baby to elderly. So we see everybody, male and female, and we also see the victim of domestic violence, that they could be in a situation with an ex-partner, present partner. So we see all that group.
Well, I find it interesting actually that you mentioned male and female because I wouldn't have thought of that, of course. But of course, that's appropriate.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yep.
This day and age,
it just wouldn't have been my first,
I did ask them off the set. It was ironic that you should say that because that was my first question to you.
Sexual assaults and domestic violence.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
exactly.
So we don't see as many men, but I do think that there's probably equal, if
Just
close
not
to be
reported.
equal, but
The
they don't
reporting
report it
of
as much.
might be-
Okay.
Yeah,
they're
I
a
think
little
it's
more
harder for them.
intimidating.
Yep.
So
It's,
you're trained and you're trained extensively in this field. So you have to get past that shock when you're presented with a baby. Because to me, I just get my arm hair stand up when I think about an infant being sexually assaulted or beaten or whatever. So that disturbs me a lot.
Yeah, it would. Like that's what I was thinking, that for them to be able, you would have special training beyond your registered nursing in order to be able to handle this kind of.
You need to be at a point, I think, in your career when you can leave these situations at work
You have to.
and go home. You do have like special patient that sometimes you'll think about it more, special situation. But I think you need to be in a point where you can leave that at work to be able to have a healthy
Home life and other life.
Yes.
So, okay, so if I was a 15-year-old girl and I was out on a date with my so-called new boyfriend and things got a little bit out of hand and I feel I totally did not provoke him to sexually attack me. Now, sexual assault does not necessarily mean penetration of that person, right? It could be with an object or whatever. So, so I go crying to, is there a hotline or something? Or like if you don't know what to do, what's the first thing I should do?
You can present right to the ER.
Okay, so, but if you're alone and a young girl, you have to tell your parents.
Because that would be sort of public.
Well, do you tell your mom and dad, or do you run, like, what do most people do when they're assaulted?
At 15, you don't need to tell your mom.
Okay.
No?
No, you need to be, if you can have a drive or not, or call 911 if you can, but it's to come at the emerge as soon as you can, especially if you want us to collect evidence.
Yeah.
We have a certain time frame to collect evidence, so the earlier, the better it is for evidence and DNA. But you don't need, to tell your parents. We'll deal with that at emerge. But something we want to tell too, like sometimes there is like alcohol involved or drugs, and it's something that we want to tell like the younger population that we won't call the police on you. We won't.
Because you were underage drinking, or you were somewhere you weren't supposed to be doing something you weren't supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So if you're assaulted and you're 15 and you were drinking, we won't call your parents. We won't call the police. So it's a safe place. We'll keep confidential. The story and everything. The only thing we need to do is to call Kids Protection. It's the law in New Brunswick. If you're 19 minus 1 day, we need to contact Child Protection. Now, if you're 17, 18, they won't call your mom. You know what I mean? Like it's to protect, depending who was the assailant. And
Now, also though, for viewers, sexual assault does not necessarily mean sex, right?
No.
There's a wide range that fits into that because someone may not may think, well, I haven't been sexually assaulted. I'm very uncomfortable. It's a horrible situation, but I haven't been sexually assaulted because it wasn't sex. But in actual fact, there are other types of sexual assault.
Yes, it could be by pictures. It could be by people telling you something. It could be a touch. Like if you think, or if you were kissed or touched inappropriately by someone, it is an assault.
Yeah.
It's almost like inside that this didn't feel right.
Right.
There was something off.
Yep.
I think most of us tend to just ignore that sense and not pick up the phone or maybe call and check and see.
Even like at work, like we could see like, like inappropriate touching or somebody
sure,
like
groping, forceful pushing on someone's breasts or anything.
And if you're not sure, we would never turn you away.
Well, and that's a great point, right? If you don't know, then come talk to somebody, right?
That's right.
Do you find young people feel the shame, or that they, how much you hear about and read about them thinking the onus is on me, that I provoked her?
I shouldn't have done it.
I shouldn't have done it. Do you find sometimes they just wait around and
like
the evidence therefore is, like they wait 3 or 4 days or a whole weekend before they go and see somebody, and they think, you know what, I should go now. I was assaulted, but they still go, and then sometimes the evidence isn't as good as when you initially should have it.
It's fun that you're saying that, because a lot of the time a victim won't come right away. They'll talk to friends and they'll think about it, and now they'll come usually after a couple of days. Usually they don't feel good about it, but they're still feeling ashamed, like, oh, well, I went on a date, I went to his place.
I was drinking.
They always going to blame themselves.
Or maybe they had intercourse before
yeah.
with them, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yes, and because you can be like in
in
a relationship with someone, and it still can be
That's right.
A rape or an assault.
Right, yeah.
A married woman still can be assaulted by the husband. It's not because you're married that
That's
you cannot
right.
say
You
no.
don't want it. They're still provoking you and doing that to you.
Yeah.
Brandy, with some thoughts?
It's important too that people know we have different options for the victims that come in. Just because you present to us doesn't mean you have to go to the police or.
Right.
Yeah.
We offer.
There's charges going to be laid automatically. There's different ways to handle it.
That's we always going to offer 3 options to the victim. First option is the medical option. So basically, if you don't want to report to the police, you don't want to collect evidence, we'll treat you with medication prophylaxis, we call, to prevent STI, any pregnancy or anything like that. We still can do like an head-to-toe evaluation to make sure everything's all right, everything's healthy. The second option will be, we call it the rape kit. This is when we collect evidence. So we'll collect all the evidence and we'll transfer them to the police, and the police will start the investigation.
Right.
The third option, we always tell our victim, if you're not 110% sure you want to press charges, we'll do the third option. We'll collect all the evidence and we'll freeze them. So we have a freezer that it's locked, and no one else have access but us to open the freezer. So we'll freeze them and we'll keep them for 6 months. So the victim has 6 months to decide and still have her evidence.
Because that's a lot.
And
it's a lot.
After 6 months, if she's still not ready, I can keep them for 10 years if I want. We just put like a time frame to keep them. It doesn't mean after 6 months that she cannot press charges. It just means that at least she'll still have those evidence to.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I find it amazing because, of course, in the news right now, there's the Taylor Swift case where she was accused. She was sued for defamation of character, and she had accused a radio DJ of sexual assault because he had actually touched her bottom. And it was interesting to read a little bit of the trial transcripts because the lawyer kept trying to make it seem like well, she didn't do anything at the time, and the way she responded was so amazing to me because she said, I don't care what you say, you can ask me whatever details you want, but I was assaulted. Yeah. You can frame it in whatever way you want, but I was assaulted.
She stuck to it.
And she was so clear
and adamant.
And she said, I don't care, what you asked me about the picture, I was assaulted. And I thought it was such a
strong.
Yeah.
Whether I called the next day or 10 years from now, it was still the same thing.
I was assaulted, and that's what it is. And she had countersued him for $1 because it wasn't about the money. It was the fact that he had done this to her.
That's a good point.
And I thought, what a great example, because here's a young woman who is, in the media worldwide. And here was somebody trying to intimidate her into changing her story, and and unfortunately that's what you see most often. And she stood her ground and she said, "My story isn't changing. It was the same the day that it happened as it is now, and I was assaulted." And I thought that was so amazing that she.
Exactly.
Do you girls, when you spoke about the age group that are sexually assaulted, I'm hoping that you're not going to say there are very many elderly people, are there? Do you see a lot of people, like you said, up to 80? Is it home invasion type assaults mostly that this would occur?
In most of the assault for any age, it's someone they know.
Okay.
So it could be like a guardian,
being a stranger is
boyfriend, husband.
Like we all think about sexual assault, like I'm walking down the street, a dark alley, and someone jumps on
stranger.
me. It's not like this.
They call that a blitz attack, don't they?
Yes. Most of the time, it's someone you know, someone you trust.
That you've let your guard down.
Yeah. And this is why it's hard for a victim to press charges, because it could be an uncle, a neighbor, a co-worker. So you need to think about all the repercussion that's going to happen afterwards.
Now, are you finding in this area that now with all of the internet and being able to date online and everything else like that and send pictures or whatever, that this makes it a little bit trickier for that generation who is using that venue in order to date or to meet somebody to end up actually in a situation where they would require your services?
Randy, like locally, do you find that this internet and, like as she said, this whole gamut of media, like being able to get in touch with anybody and lure people on is a huge problem?
I couldn't really say anything specific, but it's definitely something that people need to be aware of, especially if you're sending photos, sharing information online. Right? Yeah, it definitely would put people more at risk.
As much as I might say to Judy, I'm never going to show anybody, her underwear pictures.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's right.
Everybody's making a mental note that she sent some.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Judy and I have a fight, and I'm
well,
sharing
that's
them
what
with
happens
I'm sharing them with everybody I know.
That's right.
Right.
And
We
those
need to
photos
talk about the consent too.
Okay. Let's do that.
It is like you need to be 18 basically to be able to send nude picture of yourself.
Interesting.
Okay. Well,
that's
it's
the
porn
legal
if
law.
it's not.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
That's
porn.
right.
So
I
if
still
you're
feel like I'm too young.
yeah,
It's not going to happen.
if you're
Yes.
15 years old and you're sending a naked picture of your to your boyfriend, which is 15, it's illegal. So you
That's
could be
right.
charged with sending porn, and he
that's
could be
right.
charged with porn, child pornography
distribution.
Right.
distribution.
That's
So
incredible. People should know that.
Yes.
I knew. I
Yeah.
shared that
That's
story
good.
with my girls.
most of the 15-year-old, their phone's going to be at their parents' name, so their
Right.
parents could be charged.
That's right.
So we need to be careful. We need to do education to our,
Yes.
our youth, because I didn't have any cell phone when I was 15.
Oh, I
But
think
now-
I am so thankful that there was no internet and
No,
no
I know.
pictures and no cell phone when I was 15.
Well, I actually shared a story with my girls of a young girl who had done that, sent pictures to the boyfriend. They broke up, fought. He sent the pictures to everybody he knew. She was mortified.
Imagine.
She hung herself in a bedroom closet over it.
You know this girl?
No, I knew the story. So
Oh.
I'm telling my girls, and then when that all went down and they went through her cell phone, that young man is in prison for child pornography.
There you go. So
Right? So
But
two
we don't
lives.
think of that. We don't think of
No,
that, though.
and I constantly tell my girls, the both of them, because I have boys as well. Don't be requesting
that's
pictures.
right.
Don't be
Yeah.
sending.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's
Yeah.
serious. It's illegal. It's a crime.
Right.
That's right.
Right?
But you are educating people, young people in the classrooms, aren't you? And doing seminars
Yes.
without this
Yes.
area and throughout the province?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to
That's right.
touch on that? Like how you go about it?
Oh, no, so basically, we want to get into the high schools. We've done one session here in Miramichi, talk about consent, talk about drugs and alcohol and what happens if you're under the influence, you're not able to give consent.
And there's a rape drug that we hope is not used too often, but we know, and we're terrified to hear the word because you're, with your friend, all of a sudden you have something in your drink. The next thing you know, you wake up, don't know where you are,
That's right.
and you know you've been assaulted.
Yeah.
So that drug is out there,
That's
correct?
right.
It is out there, but the most popular one is still alcohol.
Alcohol.
It is, you go at the bar, it's a nice gesture for a guy to buy you drinks.
And another one,
and another one, until you cannot make like good decisions.
Right.
So we need to teach everyone that to bring someone home and have sex if they cannot consent because they're drunk, it's an assault. Like we need to teach our girl to be careful, but we need to teach, because I have 2 boys and I still need to teach them that it's not okay to do that.
That's right.
And that's the other thing. I think we've talked a lot about the girls here, but I mean, we need to teach our boys too.
Absolutely.
What's appropriate and what's not. Both ways. Requesting those pictures or sharing those pictures, or even them sending pictures.
Yeah,
like, it's not just girls that are sending pictures.
No, it's not just heterosexual now. We have the boys, we have the guys living together and going out together, and the same with the girls. They have relationships going, so it happens.
We need to teach our kids. Fake people. They're adults pretending to be children, and it's just I love the internet, but it's a curse at the same time. And I think for a field in this area, it actually just gave access that much easier.
But we're so glad you're in this area and that you're educating, and that you have a girl or boy or a woman that knows that they can go to the hospital, for example, in our Region 7 and access a unit where they're going to look after you.
That's right. And not have to sit in the waiting room. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
The privacy.
So there's a phone number?
That fear.
Is there a phone
They can
number
call the emergency, but there's always someone on call, usually to see a victim.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
good.
What do you,
just before we go to break, what do you really want people out there to know about SANE and what you do?
I think it's to know that there is someone out there that won't judge you, no matter if you made a bad decision or whatnot. We're going to treat you like we will treat anybody. Like we treat everybody the same, and we're there to believe you and to help you to go through that. It's one of the most traumatic event that can happen to a person.
For sure.
And we're trained to do it, and we love doing it, so we want the people not to be ashamed and to come forward.
Brandy, any final thoughts?
Well, all of us in Miramichi, and I think other hospitals, we all have other jobs. This is something that we do because we want to do it, and we want to help the people that need it.
That's amazing.
Yes. Them to come forward.
You realize there's a need for it. Exactly. Well,
so you're
thank
wonderful
you so much for
2
joining
ladies.
us. Definitely. We'll see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us here at Have a Chat, we were just chatting with a couple of nurses from the SANE program that's going on here in Miramichi. 2 lovely ladies, Emmanuel and Brandy.
Missed a big show if they've just joined us now.
Well educated.
You're definitely going to want to go back and check the reruns on that one, or check it out on YouTube later on in the week. It's good. It's good information.
Excellent.
It's valuable information. And I definitely want to check that out. Joining us now, we have Kyla Landry. Hello,
Kyla Jardine.
Kyla Jardine.
Carla Jardine.
Okay, I'm going to start wearing my glasses.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, look, it is Jardine.
Look, I wrote it down.
Last time I checked.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, you are the owner and operator of Kit and Caboodle?
No, I'm that part, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a distributor for Young Living essential oils.
Oh, okay. Exactly. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself then first.
Well, born and raised in Miramichi.
Yes.
You get brownie points there.
Originally, briefly.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, no, went to Fredericton for 10 or 12 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Married my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
17 years. Yeah, and now we have 2 little, well, I guess they're not so little anymore. 7 and 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
They're beautiful kids I have met.
are.
They keep you busy.
Very busy.
Yes.
Yes.
But look what you brought with us.
Did. Well, it was really hard to decide which ones to bring because I use them every day, all day, pretty much, and my kids do too.
And so I actually invited you on because I've been a benefactor of those beautiful oils.
Yes.
So I
It's a big rage right now,
chased after her to say I'm a poor sleeper, and initially that was my one need I was wanting help with. So it was to be more. I have such a busy life. To be calm at nighttime to sleep. So the lavender is what you recommended
To
for
turn
me.
your mind off, right?
And I love it. I'm pretty much drinking it now.
Are you bathing in it?
Yeah, bathing in it. No, but so
Tell us the science part behind it. Like, why is this so important and popular right now?
Essential oils have been around for,
this is true.
I mean, they're in the Bible. They're mentioned dozens of times. Like, they've been around. It's concentrated plant matter.
Okay.
So in the days where there was no, medicine, I mean, they used plants. I mean, everybody kind of knows that. But they distill them. So they break it down and it's highly concentrated. So these little bottles are so concentrated that there is, say the lavender, for example, has 50 square feet of plant in one little bottle.
Imagine.
So this company does that. Not all companies are like that. Companies can actually put 5% essential oil in a bottle and call it pure. That's so when I started using essential oils about 5 years ago, I just dabbled, just little ones here and there, and you can get them at big box stores, and then I didn't know the difference. And then a friend of mine said, like, you need to try one of these. The Young Living it's been around for 23 years.
It's pure,
and
absolutely
it is
pure oil.
Yes.
I love it.
They have what they're called seed to seal. So they take the plant, they distill that one plant, and they distill it one time. So you can distill it multiple times, and technically you're not diluting it unnaturally.
Okay.
But this company does not do that. They distill it once, so it's highly, highly concentrated.
And it's highly, highly unbelievable how
It is
long
potent.
this lasts.
Yeah.
Well,
how long this bottle has lasted
only
me.
need like
I went to Kyla, I don't know how many, like at least 2 months ago, and I've used it every night.
Yep.
I dab it on my wrist, I put a little bit on my temple, and a little bit on the sole of my feet.
Yep.
And do you find a difference?
I do.
Really?
I
just
love it.
because I know at first most people would be like,
I wasn't
sounds
so
a little
skeptical.
hocus pocus.
No.
Exactly.
No, but
Yeah,
it's
you
just
get
like,
the little,
essential
How
oils
could
are
that-
not in my brain pan.
Oh, you got to get some Veronique. So this one that you favor the most, do you want to talk about thieves?
Absolutely. So when we lived in Fredericton, my husband worked away, and it was me and the 2 kids, and they're 2 years apart, so I was busy being there by myself. And I was sick constantly. Colds, head colds, sinus infection. I would end up in the hospital for sinus infections.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had no family there, so my mom would have to come from Miramichi to Fredericton. It was always a racket. Yeah. And a friend of mine said, like, I keep telling you, you need to try essential oils. Well, at that point, I didn't know too much. I had some lavender and some like tea tree oil, kind of the run-of-the-mill ones, and she said, no, you need to try Thieves.
Okay.
And that would be this one.
Thieves.
Yes.
So that's talk about that a lot.
Specific scent.
It is a blend specific to
nice.
Young Living.
Okay.
Gary Young, our founder, put that one together.
Okay.
And it is, if I had to pick one oil that everybody should have in their life, it's that one.
Should have that in
Let's
their
go back to the
cupboard.
history.
Because some of them are pure of their own, but this
They
one's
are. That one's a blend
multiple-
of
a
5
blend.
different
5,
essential
okay.
oils. And it's called Thieves because in the 15th century, with the Black Plague being rampant, thieves would use those 5 herbs. They break them down, use them kind of, it smells good.
Wow.
And they would rob people dying of the plague. They would rob ships. They would rob just families and houses. And they never got sick. So that story kind of traveled through, and Gary Young went ahead, and that oil itself has been put through a lot of university and science testing.
Okay.
And it is proven to be antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. So she said, you need to try this.
What are the 5
oil.
ingredients, Kyla?
It is what you smell the most is cinnamon and
I
cloves.
was going to say.
Yeah,
like
so it's
it.
really nice to diffuse. It smells
Yeah.
really, really nice. Also rosemary, lemon, and eucalyptus.
All right.
And
So
so,
all those.
what do you do with it?
Well, that's what I asked. What do I do with this?
What do you do with it?
Buy this bottle.
For a symptom, give us a symptom first of all that you would have to apply it for.
So what I started, because I had a lot of head colds,
Right.
constant, since I was little, always. And she said, mix 1 drop with like maybe a tablespoon of coconut oil, a really good carrier oil, and rub it on the bottom of your feet. Do that twice a day. And I was like, okay.
So a
Sure
drop
thing.
of that, a drop of that with how much coconut oil?
About a teaspoon,
Teaspoon of
tablespoon.
coconut
Depends
oil
on your sensitivity.
and a
It's
drop
good
of
to
Thieves.
A drop of Thieves,
And
yeah.
rub it in your soles.
And so I was like, well, it can't hurt. At this point, I was desperate.
Oh.
So I started doing that to myself and the kids. And then it's one of those things that all of a sudden I was like, wait, I haven't been sick in a long time. And we use that every single day.
What?
Yeah, and then the kids got a little bit older, and I thought, you know what, it's time to move home. So we went home to Miramichi, where we belong. And honestly, like knock on wood, but I have not been sick since.
This is crazy.
And this has been 3 years since we've been back.
Okay.
I had a little one start kindergarten, and and I was thinking, if there's a time to try it, it's now. And she.
And so, do you do this like all year round?
Absolutely.
In the morning or at bedtime?
I do both. My kids now bring me their socks because they know like mom's gonna put the oil on before we put our. And my little guy, he was 3.5 when I started this, and he would bring me his socks because he knew I was gonna put the oil on.
Are they
before.
healthy?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's crazy.
My quick question was, because you said coconut oil, right? Now you would pick the non-scented one because now if you smell coconut oil, it's got a strong scent to it, and that would automatically add that scent.
Yeah. So you can, any carrier oil. So what the carrier oil would be a coconut oil, high quality vegetable oil, olive oil.
Okay. That would have not
oil.
The scent, because I find even olive oil has a really strong olive scent.
Yeah, and like almond oil is not so smelly, I guess. You don't notice it as much. I like the coconut oil. I'm not sensitive to it, but some people are. So a high quality like vegetable oil. Young Living sells a V6, which is a blend of different carriers as well. But I buy a jug of coconut oil.
So you had talked to me at one point about cedar wood, and you didn't have any at that moment, but you do have some to sell.
I do.
Talk about that.
Well, for me, when we moved home, my little guy did not sleep, and I was exhausted.
Do I know him?
He's related. He's got to be related.
He's related to us.
I think I had that child.
I don't sleep. We don't sleep.
No, we function well without it. Considerably well. We're here
I
today.
did not.
It's called coping. You're coping.
You're
not functioning.
So cedar wood is an aid for sleeping too.
Well, it's a bunch of different things. But what it does is help stimulate your natural production of melatonin.
Can you smell it?
That is this one, yeah. It is very woodsy, aromatic, yeah.
So say that again. It helps you.
It helps stimulate your natural production of melatonin.
Okay.
So I thought.
We all know we can buy melatonin.
Childproof.
It really
pushed down.
Yep. Yeah.
So cedar wood benefits then. Okay.
And it's like an anti-inflammatory as well.
I don't mind that smell.
I really enjoyed it. So what I started doing, I used the lavender on him to kind of calm and relax, and then the cedar wood to kind of help him sleep and stay asleep. And then all of a sudden, I put it a little bit behind his ears.
Okay.
Because it's kind of open my cedar chest to smell the inside of the cedar chest.
I love it. Yeah.
And one thing I'm noticing right away out of all of us grabbing something to smell, I tend to take a really deep breath in, and I notice right away Vero's more sensitive to.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you why.
And I'm like,
drink it, but I'll tell you why.
She's not one to take a minute to enjoy it. And actually, she's
for 12 years of my career, I worked in the cosmetics and fragrance department. And so I was, for those 12 years, engulfed in fragrance all day long. Since I left, I am extremely sensitive to.
So would you treat us differently in that sense? Because she's definitely
no. I get a headache.
Right? A headache now?
No, I'm okay. But I find it's like it now when I go back to a cosmetic department, I'm like. It's like a wall for me. It's like hitting a wall, and it's.
But essential oils are different.
They are different in the way that this company, there's nothing synthetic in that bottle. It's 100% pure, natural, therapeutic grade essential oil. Even like a bath bomb or like those often have fragrance oils, which are artificial. They're synthetic. I can't smell any of that now. I've been using these Young Living exclusively for 3 years. And if I go into a drugstore and I just get bombarded with that smell, I will have an instant headache.
So it's
I'm
the
not used to
synthetic
that
part
synthetic
of it
smell.
that you're intolerant to.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not like in a work environment or whatever. I'm fine, but I am really sensitive though. Like if I'm surrounded by and especially like I said the environment where I used to be engulfed in it day to day every day for 12 years. Now I go into it and it's like hitting a wall for me. I instantly get a headache. Yeah, instantly.
And some like candles. I used to burn a lot of candles, and my husband was always walking around sniffing, and I was like, what? Too bad.
No, people are very.
I like the smell of it.
But he, absolutely, he's fine with these. My mother has parrots, and she couldn't burn any candles. She has to be very careful. Because parrots are very sensitive respiratory systems, and she can burn almost or diffuse almost all of these essential oils because they're so pure and they're perfectly safe.
What about headaches? Sorry, I was just going to say we were touching on headaches. Do you have something that's a remedy for that, particularly?
There's a few.
Oh.
It's hard for me to pick just one, but what I would go to probably first for just a regular
Mild
headache
headache.
would be peppermint. Peppermint has so many fantastic uses, and headaches is one of those. Yeah.
And for nausea, obviously.
Yep. Not indigestion, mild fever, like because it has a cooling sensation.
Oh, beautiful! You can't mind this.
So
one.
even in the summer, I would put it in a spray bottle and just mist because it's nice and cool.
Really? That's
good,
right.
So it's good for hot flashes.
We actually had this summer when I was at the Cavendish Beach. It was so hot, and we were all and a girl hauled this out, and she put a drop on the back of my neck, and it just instantly.
Well, there.
And I was sitting baking in the sun. We're all sitting in lawn chairs, and all of a sudden we all felt cool and refreshed. Yeah,
Not grand.
I love the smell of that. Now these are like because they have sleep issues, or I'm not going to say you have mental issues, but to shut your brain off kind of thing. What about? For me, I would lean towards the chronic pain and stuff like that. Is there anything that actually?
Yeah, because
really?
I was in the same boat. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you can make this.
Shoulder bothers you.
Listen,
badly.
I'll give you something after. I
I'm
brought
like-
actually a sample. I make a cream.
Okay.
But these are ones that come in like the Young Living Premium Starter Kit.
Okay.
It comes with 11 oils, and a lot of them are the well-rounded, the ones you're going to use the most of.
Okay.
And Pan Away is actually another blend that Young Living has out, and it is specifically geared towards pain.
Pan Away. Is that it in the blue?
Yep. And it's
Because my tip, you made me a homemade concoction, which is wonderful for my sciatic area.
Yes.
And I find that really takes
that's
the edge
one
off.
I brought. Yeah. So that one comes in the kit. It is
I will
pricey
pass
to
it
buy
to
the
you.
large bottle, but it's so good for pain. So headaches, I'll use that.
Right.
I get a lot of tension headaches, and just rub that up in the back of your neck where you feel that tendon, and it is
Like what about
got a
arthritic
menthol.
benefits?
arthritis. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have arthritis just in general, what would you do?
Yep, that one would
Dab
be.
a bit on your.
So
Just
this
straight-
has menthol.
It has wintergreen. Yep.
Okay.
There's peppermint in that one as well.
So behind your ears is the best. What are the best?
No, well, that one
places?
you want to apply directly to where the pain is.
That's what I would think too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would put that right as soon as I smelt it. That's the first thing I want to do is put it right there.
Yeah. So what I've done, I'm at the Newcastle Farmers Market.
Yes.
Okay.
Every Friday. So what I've done to make that more accessible, and so people want to try before you kind of invest a large amount of money, which I was the same way.
Okay.
So I've made a cream, and I call it Painies, and what it has is 5 essential oils that are all geared towards pain and inflammation.
That's the one I got.
That's the
and
one that I gave you.
Definitely decreases inflammation.
I sell,
Really?
that one is probably the top one that I sell.
Okay.
It has Panaway and another oil called Copaiba, and that one is for inflammation. And those two together are amazing. I
Really?
use them. Yeah, I use them
Because I find that
often.
what was it, that Voltaren come out, and I thought that was amazing. And it's almost like I built up an intolerance. Yeah. So I'm
Before
just like,
these, I could have
might as well
bought
rub
stocks in that.
Yeah. I'm
And
like,
I don't use it at all. I very rarely use anything like synthetic anymore because I can. In my house, we try an oil first. Not saying that we don't sometimes need to take a step further.
True, exactly.
But if we can try what we already have, and we
What about
definitely do that.
itches, bug bites, things like that? What would you go to?
Lavender.
Lavender for all.
Really?
Lavender is, and that's like the kit. There's so many different things you can do with each of them in it that it makes it's a great investment. But
So
the
bee sting
lavender,
or mosquito bites.
mosquito bites we use constantly. I never am caught without lavender for pretty much any reason.
Wow.
We go camping a lot. We go tenting, and the first year we went, my son, of course, touched the end of the marshmallow stick. What kid doesn't eventually do that? Yeah, and so I grabbed the lavender, and in about 10 minutes, he was good.
You put it on around the burn?
I put it directly on top.
Directly on
it
it.
wasn't
On
a
it.
severe burn, but just a little.
I've
enough
actually
to
heard
sting,
that
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
That
We're
actually
running out of
sounds
time,
familiar.
aren't
Yes,
we?
I know. I'm
So
like,
where-
we can just
where
yammer
can
and
people
yammer on.
find you, and you can buy a whole kit, right?
Yeah, the kit is what I started with. I had no intention to ever sell it, but it snowballed because I thought other people need to know how amazing these are.
is.
If I can do this with it, what else can they do for my
No,
life?
if you can
And they
make
have
people
completely
feel better and
changed.
have less pain and more peace of
Absolutely.
mind, hello.
Yeah, and the staying
Right?
power. I mean, what you get for how far they go.
So the farmers market is every Friday at the Newcastle Civic Center,
Yeah,
correct?
from 10 to 2.
And then can we reach you otherwise? People that want to try these and
Facebook
buy
page?
these?
Yeah, I do have a Kyla's Kitten Caboodle Facebook page.
Okay.
Because you can do pretty much the whole kit and caboodle.
Well, we want to thank you so much
Awesome.
for joining us again. We did a whole show. Thank you for joining us here from all of us at Have a Chat. Thanks to Kyla Jardine for joining us and our other guests. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.